Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here. So today I wanted to do my favorite Pendulum deck, which is 100% Pendulum Magicians. I think they're so fun. And since we're in, Master Rule 5, I think you can definitely play, a version like I have here. This is more like kind of an old school feel. There's not too many new cards in it. I do have some in the extra deck. And obviously we do play some newer cards. But it definitely is still a nod, to kind of the old school way to play Pendulum Magicians. Um, but yeah, you're going to be making synchros, exceeds very easily, which again is really nice in Master Rule 5. But yeah, if you guys do want to support the channel or need a place to get cheap Yu-Gi-Oh cards, go to tcgplayer.com. I have a link in the description and in the comments. Use that link and it'll really help out the channel. But we'll get right into this one. Starting off with 100% the best Pendulum Magician monster is a harmonizing magician. Basically, the only thing you're going to do with this is get it to hand and then pendulum summon it. Because when you pendulum summon this card from your hand, you can special summon a Magician Pendulum monster from your deck in defense position. Its effects are negated, but doesn't really matter because you're getting either another level 4, you're getting level 7 if you want to go into that, a rank 7 exceeds. You're doing basically anything you want. And then this card is also a tuner, so if you special summon a level 4 from the deck, you'll be able to go into a level 8 synchro. So yeah, this card just is absolutely amazing for this deck. And then some of the other magicians, 2 purple poison. I really like it. It's one of those you might want to bump it up to 3. Through testing, I feel okay with it at 2, but you don't have actually too many low scales in this deck, so that might be an option of one to put at 3. That's up to you guys. For now, I'm playing it at 2, and I'm liking it. But basically, this card is your out to a lot, of problematic cards, basically. Because when it's in the Pendulum scale, and your Dark Spellcaster type monster battles, before damage calculation, that monster gains 1200 attack, and then you destroy this card. And then when this card is destroyed, you could target a face-up card in the field and destroy it. So it's an easy way of, again, getting rid of just problematic cards. And then we're playing 2 Black Fang. I still really like this card because when it's in the Pendulum scale, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and its attack becomes half, and then you destroy this card. And when this card is destroyed, you'll be able to target a Dark Spellcaster in your graveyard and special summon it. So really nice. And he's got some high attack. 1700 attack is nice. And then a really nice card to open up with, potentially, is Wisdom Eye. Because if you have another Magician in your other Pendulum zone, you can destroy this card and then place any Magician Pendulum monster from your deck to the Pendulum zone. So you're basically just replacing him with whatever scale you want. A lot of times it's going to be like Black Fang or Purple Poison, just so you can, do stuff and special summon and destroy cards. And then we're playing 1 Oath Dragon. When he's in the scale and you have another Magician in your other Pendulum zone, you just can add a face-up Magician from your extra deck to your hand. So that's really nice, especially in combination with like Wisdom Eye, because you can destroy Wisdom Eye, activate Oath Dragon, and then add that Wisdom Eye back to hand. For like another level 4 to Pendulum Summon, kind of nice. And it's a nice low scale as well. And it's a level 6. So this allows you to go into a rank 6 XCs that we'll get to. And then our level 7s, Dragon Pit. I like him for multiple reasons. The main being that he's a level 7. But also, it does come up to put him in the scale. And if you have another Magician in your other scale, you can discard a Pendulum monster and target a spell and trap on the field and destroy it. So good for that. He's also a normal monster, so it's kind of nice to use him sometimes with Draco Masters of the Tenyi. I'll explain that later. And then another level 7 that I really like, and there's other new ones that actually came out very recently that you guys probably all know about. I just haven't gotten around to getting them. But I like Janky Magician. So it's another level 7. But the main reason you're using him is his monster effect. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can target a light monster on the field and negate that monster's effects until the end of the turn. So he's a nice little negate to have, potentially if you're playing against a light deck or any deck that goes into a light monster. Kind of cool. And then with Pendulum Magicians, I still really like playing the Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm engine. It's super easy to just get a level 4 out. And this also gets you, when Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm is normal or special summoned, you can add the Gate 0, which is another level 7. But basically when Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm is in the graveyard, and you control no monsters, you can just special summon him for free. So, really nice. And then we are also playing 3 Chronograph. It's a level 6 spellcaster. So again, that'll come up for XCs that we're playing. And then you'll place him in the scale, destroy it, and then you can either activate this in the Pendulum scale or special summon the Time Gazer. So that's kind of cool just for getting another monster on board. But also, his monster effect, if a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then also special summon another monster from your hand. Really cool. So yeah, that package is nice right there. And then the last 3 cards we're playing is a very old school one again, but I still really like it. Curtain Raiser, it's a level 4, it's a dark. If you control no monsters, so you activate this in scale, you can just special summon this from your Pendulum zone. So that's nice. And then also comes up every now and then. If you control no other monsters, so after you special summon him, he'll gain 1100 attack. So he'll be at 22 attack, 2200 attack. So that's sometimes nice for getting over, again, some problematic monsters that might be stalling you. But yeah, that's the monster count, and pretty much everything is dark, except for Dragon Pit and Oath Dragon and Wisdom Eye. So that opens up some possibilities too there. For our spells, by far the best one for Pendulum Magicians is Pendulum Call. You're going to discard a card and then add 2 Magician Pendulum monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. And then until the end of your opponent's next turn, Magician cards in your Pendulum zones cannot be destroyed by card effects. So that protects your scales. Really nice. Also, since you're discarding, if you open up this and your Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm, you'll be able to discard, add your 2 Magicians, and then special summon this. So that's super, super good. A really nice card to have. And then we're playing 3 Duelist Alliance. This is going to search quite a few spells and traps that we have in this deck, actually. The main search for it is actually Pendulum Call. So as long as you have a card in your Pendulum scale, you can add a Pendulum monster or a Pendulum spell and trap card from your deck to your hand. So we got like Pendulum Call. We also are playing Star Pendulum Graph and Time Pendulum Graph. So those are all searchable with Duelist Alliance. Really nice. Playing 2 Dragon Shrine, 1 Foolish Burial, mostly because just getting a free summon of that Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm is so nice to just start your turn off. So that's a great way of sending Dark Worm to the grave, those 3 cards. And then for our draw power, 3 Allure of Darkness. That should seem pretty obvious because we play a lot of darks. So that's just drawing some cards. And then Pot of Desires, playing it at 3. I love it at 3 in this deck. It's never hurt me. So with some of the ratios that we're playing, that's my reasoning for some of those ratios because of Pot of Desires. Some cards like Curtain Raiser, you might drop down to 2, but I just would rather see it than not. Pot of Desires, and just another level 4. So there's cards that you could definitely, if you want to drop this down, and then you could drop some of these down and play some more a variety of cards. That's always an option. I just like as much draw power as I can get. And then for the Pendulum, Spells and Traps, 2 Star Pendulum Graph. This is another one. It's mostly at 2 because of Pot of Desires, but it is very, very good. Your opponent cannot target spellcaster type monsters you control with spell cards or effects. And then if a face-up Magician Pendulum monster leaves your monster zone or pendulum zone, you can add a Magician Pendulum from your deck to your hand. Really nice there. And then Time Pendulum Graph is just your way of controlling the board and just doing damage to your opponent, interrupting them. Basically, your opponent cannot target spellcaster type monsters you control with traps, trap cards, or effects. But once per turn, you're going to be able to target a Magician Pendulum monster in your monster zone or pendulum zone, and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. And if this card did not destroy 2 cards, you can send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. So like when you're under Pendulum Call and your cards can't be destroyed, so you'll target the one and 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them, but your card does not get destroyed. So since it didn't destroy 2, you'll get to send another card your opponent controls to the graveyard. So this is an amazing card, amazing interruption, and it's a continuous, so you can use it on your turn, on your opponent's turn, your turn. It spitballs, and you're just going to be destroying a lot of cards basically if you have this card. So, and again, it's searchable by Duelist Alliance, so really nice there. That's our main deck. Extra deck, playing the 1 Time Star Magician. He kind of gets your engine going, so he's sometimes really nice to go into just right away. But once per turn, you're going to detach 1, and then you're going to add a Dark Spellcaster from your deck to your graveyard, or face up in your extra deck to your hand. And then if a Pendulum monster in your monster zone or pendulum zone would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just send a Spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard instead. So we have a lot of cards that can special summon from the grave, so that effect is actually really nice to load up the graveyard, because cards like Black Fang, they want to be able to special summon a Dark Spellcaster from the graveyard, so he just kind of gets that engine going, really nice. Magician of Hope is a new card that came out. It's kind of fun to play because it is a pendulum card, and also an Xyz monster. But so how you kind of use him, you make him with 2 level 4s, and then you can detach 1 material from this card and special summon a level 7 or lower pendulum monster from your hand. Negates its effects, but that doesn't matter. And then you can place this card in your pendulum zone, so there's a good high scale. And then if this card is pendulum summoned, and you can pendulum summon if you can summon out a level 4, which is very easy with this deck. And then if he's pendulum summoned, you can target a pendulum monster in your graveyard and attach it to this card as material. So he just kind of is like one of those recurring cards. And when he's in the scale, when a monster declares an attack, you can just negate that attack and destroy this card. So that, again, he'll go to the extra deck to then summon back out. So he's just kind of a cool little tech card. And then you've seen it plenty of times, but Digaris, one of the most versatile rank 4s in the game. If you can make rank 4s, play this card. Absolutely amazing. Abyss Dweller, sometimes nice to end your board. Even if you don't know what you're playing, sometimes it's nice to end with an Abyss Dweller, just in case your opponent's playing one of the many decks that likes to use effects in the graveyard. And then our rank 6 is Narito, because the only way you're going to be able to go into this is with 2 level 6 spellcasters, and that's the only level 6s we play, with Chronograph, level 6 spellcaster, and Oath Dragon. And they're very easy to get out because Oath Dragon you can special summon off of Harmonizing, you know, and then get Chronograph out fairly easily as well. But this card, once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap, just detach one, negate it, and destroy. And then our rank 7 we go into is Odd Eyes, and we just have him so that we can get our Odd Eyes Vortex. One of the best negates in all of, you know, like Pendulum decks. Really, really good. And then our Synchros, going first, I still really like making Omega. It's a really nice card because it gets rid of a card from your opponent's hand, and then he's banished. But then it's one of those cards that you know during your standby phase you're always just going to get another 2800 attack card, and then be able to rip another card out of your opponent's hand, or just have a monster on board that you can just attack with. So I really like Omega. Really nice card to have. And then going second, I usually am liking going into Ignister, because you can target a Pendulum monster in the field or in the Pendulum zone, destroy it, and then you can just shuffle a card on the field into the deck. So it doesn't target, doesn't destroy, doesn't even send it to the graveyard. It just shuffles into the deck. Really nice to have that option. And then our links, we have Selene. We obviously don't play any Endymions, but this card is still pretty good because you're going to be able to remove 3 spell counters from the field and special summon a spellcaster from your hand or graveyard to a zone this points to. So again, with you being able to load up that graveyard with like Time Star and stuff, it's really nice to be able to special summon from that, just get a free monster. And then we play one Daybreaker. He's another one. Kind of nice just for targeting a card on the field and destroying it. That's kind of what this deck does best. Is just pop cards and just get rid of problematic cards. And hopefully put a few negates on board and you win. One Cross Sheep. This card got a new ultra rare reprint. Really nice. I'm sure it's really cheap too. But this is cool because you're mostly going to want to be going into it with an Odd Eyes Absolute and any other card. And then you'll go into the Cross Sheep with those two. And then when this hits the grave, you'll special summon your Vortex to the zone the Cross Sheep points to. And then Cross Sheep will then be able to special summon a level 1 or a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. So again, loading up that graveyard is nice for this little combo too. So definitely use Cross Sheep. Really nice just for, again, just gaining more advantage, getting more monsters on the field. This deck does not have a problem at all with getting monsters on the field. Also playing one Wee Witch. Again, we just want ways of being able to get like a Link 2 easily, and this just requires 2 dark monsters. And we have a Draco, Masters of the Tenyi. So he can't be destroyed by battle with an effect monster. And then if you control no other effect monsters, you'll be able to destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effects you control are in your graveyard. So that's where, if you control him and Dragon Pit, or have him in your graveyard, you'll be able to then just destroy an effect monster your opponent controls for free, basically. Really nice card. And also, it's nice to be able to use him to open up some zones for Pendulum summoning, because he has 3 downward pointing arrows right there. And then the last card we play is Borreload. Again, it's kind of my go-to for a Link 4 because it's so nice to have. Won't be able to be targeted by monster effects. You'll be lowering the attack of a monster on the field. And then your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to that effect. He's just really cool. And then if he attacks an opponent's monster, you just place that opponent's monster to a zone this points to, take control of it, and then you send it to the graveyard during the end phase of the next turn. So just all around, nice card. 3,000 attack is nice. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. Like I said, I wasn't lying how it's more of an old school version, but it is also very budget too. If you're looking for a nice budget deck to even just start out with Pendulum, with a Pendulum mechanic, this is a great deck to do that with. This trap card is absolutely amazing. So yeah, check it out, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.